welcome back to the Legal, where we discuss everything about law. Today we're going to discuss walkways and public rights of way like Coillte Forest in Ireland. Where can you walk? Where can you not? What's the liability? We're going to go through that now and see, can you bring your dog with you? What you should do? Should I keep it on a lead? Are you allowed? What's the public right of way? So let's go. We'll get through that and go forward. Look at this beautiful scenery behind me. Beautiful Ireland. And what is walking trail in Ireland? Well, the trails might include something like the National Wayward Trails around Ireland, and this could be the Wicklow Way, the Curry Way. There's a number of walkways around Ireland. A lot of them are wayward marking trails. They're paths developed with the agreement and the support of landowners whose lands are crossed en route. They're not necessarily rights of way. The person sign, which with a walking stick, would indicate that this is a walking route within Ireland. So we're going to discuss kind of the Coillte forestry walkways, which are in Ireland, which is very interesting to know the rules you have to abide by, public liability, what you should look out for, Occupiers Liability Act, which is a very important act when it comes to these rights of way. So we're going to discuss that now. Some of these rights are state owned. As you can see, this is Rosscastle Woods in Galway, and this is Dooley's Rock here in Sligo. And the public does have a right of way to walk through, but there is certain conditions attached. And as you can see, they're absolutely beautiful walkways. They should be respected. Campfires are only allowed in designated areas, and picnics are only allowed sometimes in designated areas. Leave no trace. So we'll go through it now. We'll see also that sometimes dogs must be kept on a lead, or they're not allowed at all. This is to protect wildlife, sheep, and there is deers in this park. So that is one reason why you should keep your dog on a lead, as you're responsible for your dog under Control of Dogs Act legislation, which we'll go through shortly. You must also clean up after your dog, and where it states no parking in front of the gate, emergency access, persons may be in danger. You will see some of these Coillte owned forests, they do have lakes, and there is fishing rules in these lakes as shown. So it does differ from lake to lake, from Coillte Forest to Coillte Forest. Also, some of them allow boating, but there is a spread of zebra mussels in some lakes, and just clean your boat after. So this is just a helpful documentation of how to clean your boat, what you should do to protect these forests and lakes. Is there state-owned walking trails. There's also mountain bike trails, as you can see here, owned by Coillte, and it can be checked at coillte.ie. Now here's some of the rules, the bylaws for access and use of these forests. And it's pursuant to Section 37 of the Forest Act 1988. It is amended, so it's just saying, shows you the rules here. No littering or burning material. Persons should keep their dog under control under the Dogs Act 1986. They should not place any structure on here. Graffiti is not allowed. Motorbikes or other vehicles without a license. Use of mountain bikes. Vandalism, abusive, threatening behaviour towards staff. Camping is not allowed, only in designated areas. Picnic fires or barbecues only again in designated areas. Unauthorized possession or use of a firearm, that's if you're hunting, is not allowed, only with the permission of Coillte. And other prohibited activities as stated in the bylaws, which can be found at coillte.ie, and you'll see it here. Please leave no trace. Respect the leave no trace rule, and any person who commits an offence is liable to a fine and will be brought to court and can be arrested by a member of Garda Síochána. But anyway, you can see more of these rights on www.coillte.ie. They're absolutely amazing walking trails. So we're going to go through Occupiers Liability here and see what your further rights and liabilities are. Now, Coillte is a publicly owned forestry service, and it does have walkways through its land within Ireland, and the state does own it. Coillte runs over 180 recreational sites around the country, most of which provide basic facilities such as parking, picnic areas and walking trails. Now with all Coillte, it is leave no trace. If you do bring a picnic, if you do have a picnic, try bring all your food, bring all your rubbish with you. We have to respect things for others. It's just common courtesy that we respect these walking trails and keep them active, as it is part for national Irish history, and they're beautiful places to visit on fine summer day today. And there is a distinction in Irish law between public and private rights. Public right of way is a person's right of passage along a road or path, even if the road or path is not in public ownership. So there are very few registered public rights of way that are not maintained on public roads. And a private right of way is the right to enter onto private lands but only for the purpose of gaining access to or exiting from another piece of land. So it's a right of way. It's attached to another piece of land. So as we see, it could be a cemetery. So you'd have a right of way through to a cemetery and a piece of land, as this could be regarded as a right of way. So before we discuss occupiers' liability, now in tort law, which is a civil claim arising from a breach of a duty of care. What is duty of care? But for a test, which is all under claims, and tort law must be established. But look, there has been a lot of rights away. There has been a lot of claims arising from public walkways, and look, I don't think it's kind of right. You should understand what your duty of care. You're taking on responsibility. You're walking these trails, and some of these claims are very fictitious, I think, because they have brought a big compensation claims and affected some of these areas for a lot of walkers. And so the first thing to look at is tort, and that is claims in negligence. So a person does owe a duty of care, and this was established in the case of Dunhu versus Stevenson, which is another big case in claims or tort law and Irish law and both English law. So that was one of the cases where there was a snail found in a bottle of ginger beer, and it was said in the court that person owes a duty of care. It's likely to cause injury. They should have known if there was a snail inside the bottle. They should have checked when they poured it. They should have known, so that established duty of care. So that's what duty of care means, that a person must take reasonable care to make sure a person is not injured, and it must be foreseeable. So there's foreseeability, there's a but for test, but for them not taking the proper actions. Was the negligence caused, like the Occupiers Liability Act, but for, say, a hole being created in the ground in one of these walkways or on public land, but for that happening, would the person got injured? If the answer is no, well then the person might have a claim. In civil law. So that is one part for walkways. But look, we're going to explain about the walkways, and look what you have to adhere to, what duty of care a person should owe, what reasonable care a person should take when visiting these walkways and trails, because after all, it's for all of us, it's for the public to enjoy, and that is reasonable. I think that we do abide by these rules. Leave no trace is one thing. We're going to go through this now. We'll have a look at some of the signs and see what they mean. And here we see a sign in the Caves of Kesh in County Sligo, and it says dogs are not allowed on this land and may be subject to being shot, as there is sheep on this land. It's a working farm, so the owners said they don't mind people walking the land up to the caves as long as they don't bring dogs, and they have this right. It is their land. Your home is your castle doctrine does apply, so it's fair enough, I think. So be wary of this one. So you can't see rights away in the Land Registry Office, in the High Court office in Dublin, between neighbours. The wayward trails are permissive routes that have been developed with the landowner's agreement and are not rights away. So an example of a right of way, well, I suppose it was down in Lough Lynn, and there is a kind of a memorial for the 1916 rising, and there is 3 adjoining pieces of land. Now each owner must have gave their consent before a right of way is established, and they must agree. 2 of the owners didn't agree, so therefore the right of way couldn't be established. The monument could not be reached. Only 1 of them agreed, so that was no good. They didn't come to this consensus as did them, which is meeting of the minds. So therefore public right of way, it was not established, even though it is a 1916 historical monument. It didn't give the public access or right of way onto these lands. Now we're going to discuss a very important piece of legislation when it comes to rights of way on land, and this is for landowners also, so they deserve respect and be treated with respect for giving rights of way on their land. And the Occupiers Liability Act in 1995 includes Recreational Users Act, and I suppose the seminal case or the big case for this was Rylands versus Fletcher, which established pollution going into a river. This case, it was a big case, and it is the number 1 case to look for in Irish law when it comes to occupiers' liability. Now, the law does keep updating, so keep abreast of the law because there is new developments all the time. But anyway, under the 1995 Occupiers' Liability Act, Section 2, in Section 3, Subsection 2, in this section, the common duty of care, what does it mean? Well, it means a duty to take care reasonable in all the circumstances, having regard to the care which a visitor may reasonably expect it to take. So there you go, there's our rights away and walking rights. And so I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, click the like and click the subscribe button, and good to have that in mind. So click the like and the subscribe button. Thank you very much.